What's up guys, it's Alexander Travelbum, and today we're going over one of the questions that you guys always ask, and that's how to travel cheap. I was asked to do more of a beginner's guide for people who are just getting started, so we're gonna go over some things that a lot of you might know about if you're seasoned travelers, but if you're kind of new to it, then hopefully you'll get something out of this. So the first thing, my number one thing, is to get free flights with a travel credit card. So there are a bunch of credit cards out there that can really help you out when it comes to getting flights. Some of them are actually made for travel. There's one that I use that's for travel, and it's by Chase. It's the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And this really isn't the only card. There are other ones out there. What happens is you get points on these cards, and then you can use those for travel. So for my card, the points that I accumulate, they're actually worth more if I use them for travel. So I can take it out as cash if I want to use those points just to take out cash, but if I use them for flights, they're worth 3 times as much. And the good thing about the card that I use, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, is that when you sign up for it, you get bonus points just for signing up. So when I signed up, it was about 100,000 points, and it roughly translated to about $1,000 worth of flights for free. So the next thing is to get a debit card that charges no ATM fees. So you can use these at ATMs all over the world, and instead of getting these fees that you get every time you take out your money, these ones, there are no fees. And so the one that I use is the Charles Schwab card. So the next thing is free walking tours. You can find these all over the place in main cities and sometimes even smaller cities, but these walking tours are free, and you usually just give them a little tip if you want to. But it's a good way to see the city and see everything, get a little bit of the history and the culture and learn about it before you go off on your own. And along those lines is free pub crawls. A lot of times if you stay at a hostel, you can find free pub crawls that you can go on, and a lot of times they'll provide free alcohol, at least at the beginning and sometimes during the whole crawl. So that's a good time to get drunk on a budget. Getting free accommodation with trusted house sitters. This is a website where you can basically house sit for people. You can watch their cat or their dog, or just watch their house and keep it safe for them. Sometimes you can stay in one place for a few days, a week, or sometimes even a month. You can find free accommodation with COUCHSURFING. I've gone over this many times, but COUCHSURFING really saved me, especially in Europe. You can meet locals, stay with them, make new friends, and stay somewhere for free. Student discounts. If you're a student or you were a student, you can use your card for student discounts at a lot of tours and activities and things that you can do all around big cities, all around the world. I've never actually used this, but I have definitely been with friends and people that I met along the way that did have these, and they always get in for much cheaper than me. Hitchhiking. This isn't for everybody, but it is a lot safer than people think it is. I did this a little bit in Europe recently, and every experience was great. And it's free, and you can get from point A to point B. Instead of buying a flight, which could cost you $100, $200 or more, or a train trip or a bus trip, just try hitchhiking, and it's free, and sometimes you meet locals, sometimes you can even stay with them. It's a great way to go. I highly recommend at least trying it once in your life. Next is look for budget transportation deals. Recently I was in Europe and I saw that there were some deals. For example, if you're going to Europe, Flixbus is a really cheap bus company. They're actually all over the world, but in Europe they have a deal. 5 trips for 100 euros. So you pay 100 euros up front, and then you get codes for a bus trip from one country to another or one city to another. So what you do is you use these for the longer trips so that you save money that way. And if you have a shorter trip, you don't really want to use one of your voucher codes for that because it might cost 10 euros or 20 euros. But if you're going, say, from Italy to France or Belgium, and that trip alone on a bus would probably cost over 100 euros, and you're getting that as one of your 5 trips, all for 100 euros. You can try EURAIL, getting a EURAIL pass while you're in Europe. I did that my first time, and that saved me a lot of money. And then there is Blablacar. Blablacar is basically ride sharing, and you can find really cheap deals because it's somebody who's traveling from one city to another, and they're gonna pay for it anyway. But this is a way for them to make a little bit extra cash, so you can find sometimes just throw them $5 and you can get in their car and go across the country. We did this a few times in Europe and it was amazing. The next is pretty obvious, but travel to budget destinations. Places like Southeast Asia, India, South America. If you travel in a budget destination, then you can travel a lot longer and you can do more things. You can try more food, meet more people, do more activities, because a lot of the things are going to cost much less than if you're traveling, say, in Europe. Eat the street food. This is going to depend where you are in the world, but places like Asia, and you can find street food from $50 to, a couple dollars for a full meal. And if you're in a place where the street food is good, also India, don't be afraid of it. You should try it. There are chances that you could get a little tummy ache. You could get a little sick. It does happen, but you have to try these things. You have to live a little. You're most likely not going to die from it. I've gotten a couple little stomach issues, but nothing that didn't heal within a few days. The next is to cook for yourself or eat food from grocery stores. Grocery stores pretty much always have the cheapest food, unless there's cheap street food. And if you're in an Airbnb or a hostel that has a kitchen, then cooking for yourself is one of the best ways to travel on a budget. So the next thing, this is a little different. This is going to change the way that you travel, but you can work abroad. You can do things like au pair. I've met a lot of girls that do this, mostly girls, and that's a good way to make extra money and have a place to stay. You can be a bartender in a lot of these countries. If you speak English really well, they might want you in some of the tourist bars. You can do hostel work. Sometimes you don't make money, but you usually get free room and board. So you have a place to stay and you're not spending any money, but you get to stay somewhere for a little bit of work, and then on your days off or your nights off, you get to explore the place. I've met people who are waiters and waitresses. You can be a dive instructor. It actually doesn't take that long to get certified and become an instructor. I met a lot of people in Bali, Indonesia, who were doing this, and they loved their life. They just hang out at the beach all day, and yeah, it seemed pretty good to me when I was there. I might look into it. You can be a tour guide. This also takes a little bit of time, but you could definitely figure this out. And if you're a native English speaker or very good at English, then this is definitely a good way to go. You can work at a cruise ship. I've met people doing this, and I've read many articles about people who work on cruise ships. They're constantly looking for people to do this, and it's a good way to not only travel one country, but probably travel multiple and sail the seas. The next thing I'm sure you've heard of is to teach English. A lot of Asian countries, this is a huge thing to do, but really all over the world you can do this. If you're American or Australian English, fluent in English and it's your native language, they're always looking for people, and you can definitely find a way to do this. Stay in that country and make a little bit of money. And then after you're done with your job, maybe in a year, you can travel with that money a little bit more. The next thing is to work online. There are a ton of websites. It's 2018, and there are a lot of websites where you can find work online, even if you don't have a lot of skills. You can go to Fiverr.com. Fiverr, you can blog, you can vlog. I make money making videos of my travels, and you can make a little bit of money doing that. Upwork, another site where you can do kind of freelance work, and then Craigslist. People are always looking for people to do the odd job, and Craigslist is a great place to do that and to find these things while you're traveling. The next thing is WWOOFing, Worldwide Organic Farming something. But you can join that and you can stay on a farm, do a little farming. You have a place to stay, and sometimes you can stay there for a month up to, I think I've seen 3 months. And it's a really good way to really get to know the place that you are and stay for a longer period of time. If you have any budget travel tips or things that you've done in order to travel longer, better, cheaper, then leave a comment below, because I'd like to see that and share it with everybody else in the comments. Please like this video if you liked it and got anything out of it. It really helps me out. Subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be putting out a lot more videos about travel. And hopefully I will see you in the next video. I'm Alexander Travelbum. Thanks for watching.